morning, everyone. This is Belinda Hooks. How's everyone doing this morning on this Thursday, August 26th? Welcome to the Mountain Plains Minority Supplier Development Council Corporate Orientation. Say that a few times. Listen, I am so glad that you all are here. I want to do this first. Oh, thank you, Stephanie, for taking yourself so I could see you. If you all would please, if you are in a position to do so, could we please see you this morning? Liz Ojeda, thank you so very much. So good to see you, looking good as always. April, need to see you. Catherine, is there a way that we can see you? Marissa?
I am currently in the car, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Well, we do not do anything different. Just keep driving safely. Can we see everyone else that's available if you are able to do so? Let's see, who else do we have? I see, let's see, Marvin, show yourself. Tamika, is that Tamika Little?
Yes, it is. And I'm sick. I'm actually waiting for my COVID test results. So
Oh,
I am not stressed, but I
You
wanted
know
to
what?
join today.
Absolutely. Tamika, we can hear you.
Thank you.
We're trying to develop these relationships. So the next time we have this corporate orientation, we know that you're going to be feeling so much better.
Yeah.
And Marissa
Thank you.
is going to already make it to her destination, and we're going to see her from PNC. And who else am I missing?
We got Jim from Belco.
Jim. Well, I know that. Jim, I was just you. We're going to talk a little bit about Jim in just a second. So I wanted to make sure, did I have Catherine? Who else do I have? I got Brittany and staff. That's fine. Who else do we have? Now I'm asking everybody to show their screen if you're available, and if you're not driving, and certainly if you're feeling great. There you go. Okay. All righty. So with this, with our corporate members, and thank you so much for the Mountain Plains Council. This way the corporate members can also see some of our members of our staff as well. So with that, we're going to go ahead in this first part. I want to make sure that we know who our corporate members are. And so who dialed in first? Was that Stephanie? Did you dial in first?
I don't know, but I'll introduce myself first.
Okay. So if you could do this just real quickly, if you could just say who you are, of course, your title and who you're with, that would be awesome. Stephanie?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Sorry if it's a little noisy. We have an open space office, so there's background noise, but my name is Stephanie Gorman. I'm the Community and Citizenship Coordinator at Turner Construction in Kansas City.
Awesome. Turner is busy, busy, busy. And Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Jim from
Yes.
Credit Union. Now, Stephanie, you don't know this, but Belco Credit Union is one of our newest corporate members. And so we want to introduce Jim. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm the Senior Marketing Manager at Belco, and I've been here for 10 years, and we are a large credit union in the Denver Metro Front Range, Colorado market.
Awesome. Now, what else is Belco doing coming up next month? You are so excited you could barely sit still in your seat.
So we're hosting the meet and greet here at our corporate offices for Mountain Plains. And that's
Yes.
September 23rd. And I believe, Belinda, we're starting at 4.
Well,
So
we'll be over
we can
there.
have some network. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
have some networking time.
Absolutely.
there'll
We're
be
going to get it started early. Yes, absolutely.
Snacks, drinks, and music. So
Yes.
come on by if you can.
So Stephanie, any of the team from Turner in Colorado, if you're in the area, anybody on this slide, if you're in the Colorado area, come on over to Belco Credit Union. Jim, give us that address real quick.
7600 East Orchard, and we're in the tech center off of in Greenwood Village.
Yes, they are so close. We can walk over and get money from them. So, Jim, so thank you so very much.
Mhm.
I know that you're in the car, and I don't know how long you're going to be in the car. Can you introduce yourself?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everybody. I'm Marissa Martinez. I'm with PNC Bank, and I do financial wellness for large corporate and commercial companies here throughout the Colorado region.
Awesome. And PNC not only is a regional member, they are also a national member as well. So we certainly appreciate PNC coming on board to the table, and more in store as PNC is getting ready to do some incredible things this fall. So thank you so much, Marissa, for joining us. Liz Ojeda.
Good morning. My name is Liz Ojeda. I'm with Workforce Tag, and I am not a corporate member, but I have been a intricate member of the council for about 21 years now, and I'm here to participate and offer support where needed. And I'm here just because I love Belinda. So thank you. I'm very excited, and I'll definitely be at the Belco event. Sounds great. Thanks.
Absolutely. You don't want to miss it. Look at Jim. He's so excited he can't stand it. He knew the date and everything, September 23rd. He's got that locked down. So thank you, Liz. Tyrone, please introduce yourself. Tyrone.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes. And can we see you as well, Tyrone? Baxter?
You know what?
What?
I'm in Colorado Springs, and I'm at one of our mobile offices. They really don't have set up for Zoom, so I'm kind of piecemealing this together.
Okay, that's fine.
Lexus is in training, so they've kind of got the training room tied up where we normally would take our Zoom meetings from. So, trust me, you probably don't want to see me anyway, but good morning. Tyrone Williams with the Baxter Auto Group, and we're new to the council and just trying to figure it all out.
Absolutely. And Tyrone, just tell a little bit about Baxter. You have what, 21 locations? Tell us a little bit more, please.
Yeah, we're a dealer group based out of Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. We have 21 locations, primarily in Nebraska, Omaha, and Lincoln, but we do have 4 stores in the Kansas City metro, and then the 1 store in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
We represent all brands, a third luxury, a third domestic, and a third imports.
Right. And Tyrone and I have been talking about doing something, what did we say, Tyrone? Probably in October there in Nebraska. So more in store. So keep posted on that. Now, Tyrone, we don't want you to give up working on your Zoom. So if at any point during this corporate orientation you are successful, I'm sure that everybody on this call would love to see who you are. So if you're successful, please do that.
Hey, Belinda, you may not be aware of this, but Tyrone and I are in heated discussions about Baxter Auto Group providing all the staff council company cars. So,
Oh, absolutely. You know, I've been on Tyrone.
yeah.
Keep the conversations going, then let's do it.
I'm just always happy when Tyrone returns my call. You know, it's a song, Tyrone on the phone or something. So Tyrone, thank you. He is the president of the Baxter Auto Group. And so thank you. Out of Omaha, Nebraska, we got representation. This is awesome. Now, let me see. Who am I missing? Tamika?
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Tamika Little. I work with IBM. I am a supplier diversity program manager. I speak the Americas under Michael Robinson.
Awesome. Thank you. And Tamika is not feeling well this morning, but she is joining us anyway. So we wish you the very best, Tamika, and get better real soon. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Catherine, did I do Catherine Mason? April, keep me honest here. I see a Catherine Mason, but I'm not hearing. I mean, I see the name, but I don't hear or see a Catherine. So that could be me. But Catherine, if you are there at any time, please say hello. Would you do that? Okay, now do I have, and then we have, and at the end, I'll make sure that I believe everyone else on here is from the council staff. Am I correct? And I'm going to be introducing the council staff. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, April. Okay, I got to say something. Okay, so with that, now listen, let me see. I'm going to be introducing Stan, but since we have Brittany and Marvin and April, I also would like you to introduce yourself now because we're going to be rolling through this presentation so that we can all get back to doing what we need to do. And so let me start off with April. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is April. I'm the administrative coordinator over here at Mountain Plains. And so I'm usually the one you speak with when you call, and I'm sure you get all of my emails because I send out the newsletter too. So great fun.
Thank you so much, April. Love that smile in spite of work you have had done. Let's go with Marvin Lyman out of the KSMO area. Marvin.
Good morning, everyone. Marvin Lyman, Business Development Corporate Relations Manager here in the Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas area. Just so that you know, Tyrone, 11322 West 79th Street, Lenexa, Kansas, is where my company vehicle can be delivered. Looking forward to working with you in this market.
Tyrone, now.
I got it.
I love that, Tyrone. And let's see, Brittany Westware, would you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brittany. I am the regional MBE manager for the Mountain Plains Council. I am the person that you would reach out to if you want a specific type of MBE or a specific genre or a particular niche that you know that our MBEs can fulfill, because they can fulfill all the niches. So I am the person that you would probably reach out to. I was going to tell Tyrone my address, but instead I'll just tell Jim, make sure that my credit score is adjusted properly when I apply for that loan. That way I can get all the housing that I need. Definitely looking for that 7-bedroom house at maybe a 0.002% APR. So thank you so much for that.
Aren't we all?
I love that. Thank you so much, Brittany. So you have met some of the team, and you'll see other team members in the presentation later. So let's go. You can all take yourselves off the screen or keep yourselves on if you want to do that as well. So welcome again, and thank you for that. It's so important to develop these relationships and to get to know who our corporate members are. And so we welcome you on this Thursday. So for this presentation, it will be myself and also the president and CEO of the Mountain Plains Council, Mr. Stan Senna. Stan is certainly background in terms of alleged here in Colorado, be it from Colorado, certainly a law degree from the University of Michigan, but more importantly at the helm of this great organization for the past 12 years, and certainly successful in his own right, having several businesses as well as executive positions. And so I have been here 11 years. Can't believe it. I know, Stan. It has gone by extremely fast. And so we are going to be giving this presentation working together. So next slide, April. Thank you so much. So the mission, in case you are not aware, is to provide corporate America and government entities with greater access to goods and services of minority-owned businesses in order to develop lasting and mutually beneficial relationships. And we're going to go in a little bit further within this presentation to tell you about how we fulfill that mission.
We think it might be advantageous if we kind of share with you the relationship and the interaction that our organization has with the National Minority Supplier Development Council. So just a bit about the NMSDC. It's headquartered in New York. We just have that organization has a brand new president, Ying McGuire. There are approximately 500 national corporate members that have registered with the NMSDC. National corporate members can also be regional corporate members of a particular affiliate of the NMSDC. There are 23 affiliates. We're one of those. And all 24 of us, that's the 23 affiliates and the NMSDC, are independent 501c3 public charities. So we're all separate governing entities. We have had a long relationship with the NMSDC. NMSDC started in 1972. Many of the affiliates, a couple of the affiliates were around before the NMSDC. and became affiliated with them after they joined. We became affiliated with the NMSDC in 1974. If I could ask you to change the slide, please. A little bit about us. I've got the good fortune to be able to manage this organization. As Belinda mentioned, I started with the organization as the president in 2009. Before that, I was a certified MBE. I was a certified MBE with the council for 10 years. And before that, I was a corporate member of the organization that I ran as a corporation, was a corporate member of the NMSDC out of the Chicago market. So I've had a long history with this organization. I've got a love affair with this organization. This is a passion of ours, of mine, to be able to help create wealth in the minority business community.
Yes.
Talk just briefly about the number of corporate members that we have. We have approximately 130 corporate members, and some of them are national corporate members, and some of them are what we call local corporate members. And I hate to make those distinctions. I do, because corporate members in my mind are corporate members. But it's important to make that distinction. There are large multinational corporations that join our organization for whatever reason. And I'll use one of the automakers, Ford. They've been a long time national corporate member, and they're looking for a specific kind of MBE, obviously. They're hoping to find MBEs that have the size and the scale and the scope to be able to do business with them on a multinational level. And then we have corporate members that, well, I'll use Belco Credit Union as one of our newest corporate members. They don't necessarily they're not necessarily looking for a $2 billion a year MBE. They're looking for an MBE that helps them and satisfies their particular needs, possibly just on a small geographic area, because that's where Belco is centered. So the NMSDC doesn't necessarily bring on board as a national corporate member a Denver Water or a small utility company in Nebraska or Kansas. That's where they come to us and join as what we call regional or local corporate members. We've got about 69,000 employees of our MBEs. We've got over about 350 MBEs that are certified. And we'll talk a little bit more about certification down the road. Those MBEs don't necessarily conflate an MBE with a small business. Some of them are, but in our organization, those 350 MBEs did 18.3 billion in sales last year. So that's our goal. Our goal is to grow our MBEs into size and scale and create wealth in that minority business community. Not for the owner, even though the owners hopefully will get wealthy, but for those minorities that are part of that organization and are part of that community. And then we also operate the Minority Business Development Agency, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail down the road.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. So what's the vision? So the vision is to be the bridge to help corporations create wealth. And Stan has mentioned that several times within the minority business community by connecting them to qualified MBEs for contracting opportunities within the states of Colorado, Kansas, Western Missouri, and Nebraska. So having said that, so Stan talked about the NMSDC headed by now newly selected Ying McGuire. So you can see the breakdown in terms of the number of MBEs. And so we certify African American, Asian, Indian, Asian Pacific, Native American, and of course, Hispanic. We've already talked about the corporate members. Those are both national and regional corporate members that make up the affiliate in terms of the 23 councils. So within this, and Brittany is on the line, and so this is just a snapshot, just trying to pull in terms of some of the information. And at the very end, I want to see in terms of, for those who have had an opportunity to go into the database, for those who have not, but once you are in the database, this is some of the information that you will see from the NMSDC portal. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but this will definitely pull up some of the information that you would be looking for in terms of the name of the company, the type of business structure, when they were, started or acquired or purchased, etc. So we'll go into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you one of the slides from the NMSDC portal. So what are the 4 goals? And it doesn't matter what council, the 23 affiliates, we all have the 4 core goals: to certify, to develop, to connect, and to advocate. So I'm going to go into a little bit regarding the 4 goals. Stan will talk first a little bit about certification, and then I'll go into the other 3 goals, the pillars of the council. Stan?
Thanks, Belinda. One of the major draws for corporations to be part of our organization is the certification process. It's a positive and it's a negative. And what I mean by that is we're called the gold standard of certification. We have on our staff an expert in certification, Brittany Ware, and she's responsible for making sure that any MBE that becomes certified, we satisfy criteria that MBE is minority owned, minority managed, and minority controlled. Can't have one, can't have 2, have to have all 3. And the reason for that is that you, our corporate members, are counting on that. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Are counting on that. You want to know that if you're using one of our certified MBEs, they in fact are minority owned, minority managed, minority controlled. They are not a front company. So she spends a lot of time getting documentation. We get governing documents. We get financial documents. We get ethnicity documents, all to make sure that that MBE is in fact certifiable, managed, owned, and controlled by a minority. Please, next slide.
So, thank you, Stan. So that was certification, one of the pillars. So let's talk a little bit about develop, which means or equals up to building new suppliers and enhancing overall capacity to deliver products and services. So what are some of the ways that we do that from the council? Okay. So we have coming up in conjunction with the University of Nebraska, world-renowned professors, the MB University. The MBE University is going to be a 6-week program starting in October of this year for Class 1 MBEs. So let me talk a little bit about the classes. So we have Class 1 to Class 4. Class 1 indicates those MBEs who generate in revenue 0 to $1 million. Class 2 would be $1 million to 10 million. Class 3 is 10 to 50. Class 4 is 50 million or more. We also have the NMSDC trademark called Corporate Plus MBEs. You have to be doing business with a national corporate member, and a national corporate member nominates you to be a Corporate Plus MBE. What does that mean? That as a Corporate Plus MBE, you operate just like a major corporation. You have the capacity, you have the resources, you have the reach, you have the finances to do as such. And so within the council, we do have Corporate Plus MBEs. The next thing that we have is the Centers of Excellence program. We have been working hard on this program, sponsored by Cargill, who is the major sponsor for this. The Centers of Excellence is going to be a 9-month program. Some of you on this call have volunteered to be an executive coach, which is definitely needed. The Centers of Excellence, or COE for short, focuses on those MBEs who generate in the Class 2, and we do have high-end Class 1s as well as Class 3s that are participating in this program, whether they're in as a mentee or they're as a mentor. This is the very first time that our council will be participating in this program, and we are very excited about it. That will be starting on September 14th with our launch. We also have tailored webinars. Those webinars are everything from your 30-second elevator pitch to your capability statement. We also have webinars specifically for our corporate members. Stan's going to talk a little bit about the MBDA, so I will not get into that. We also had the opportunity with Bank of America that had offered, that was one of the things that was offered across the network in terms of e-learning. And then also working with the Advancing Black Pathways that JP Morgan Chase, one of our national corporate members, as well as the Urban League Black Enterprise paid through the certification with NMSDC. That's just a tidbit of some of the things that we offer as it relates to development. Now, as a corporate member, you might be saying, hey, Belinda, you know, what about us? We have corporate roundtables. Those corporate roundtables really focus on particular topics, whether it is tier 2 spending, whether it is payment in terms of 30, 60 days, 90, different things that we offer. It could be on the NMSDC database. So absolutely, we have corporate roundtables that are specifically designed and set up for you as a corporate member. Next slide, April. So connect, which means matching buyers with suppliers to do business to close the economic wealth gap in communities of colors. So let me talk just a little bit about, so what does that really mean? What does that mean, Belinda? So connect, okay. So coming up in December, because we want to give you time, we're going to have a Business Alliance Forum. That Business Alliance Forum allows you the opportunity to sit one-on-one with capable suppliers based on the opportunities that you have. And so I'm asking you, for whether it's Turner or Belco, start looking at, or IBM, start looking at the opportunities that you have for even now, between now and the end of the year, and particularly for 2022, right? We want to make sure that we have suppliers that fit in those particular opportunities for you to meet with accordingly. Coming up, as you already know, you have seen the advertisement. Some of you have already registered. Some of you have already sponsored. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. We're going to be having our Business Opportunity Exchange that is scheduled for September 16th. We're going to have workshops for not only corporate, but we're also going to have workshops for our minority businesses and excellent speakers throughout that particular BOE. So if you have not registered, please do so. It is going to be scheduled and it is virtual, so you'll have an opportunity to attend. We also do the MBE Spotlight. We've had a great opportunity and time in doing this and really focusing on some of our MBEs, whether they're class 1, 2, or 3, or 4. And so we will continue to do that. We recently had, I believe, 4 or 5 MBEs, whether it was Samuel's Engineering, Everything and a Baby. We had Premier Manufacturing. We've done South Coast Paper. We've done Great Paper Straws, Media King Communications. Just the list goes on in terms of you being able to really see and hear some of our MBEs state area. And then of course, we're going to continue to provide virtual introductions. We are asked this all the time, but Linda, Brittany, Marvin, Stan, could you please make a virtual introduction to a corporate member? So we'd like to continue to do that, to provide those warm introductions to you as corporate members. And the last thing that we do is in terms of the pillars, next slide, is that we're going to advocate all day long in terms of providing pathways to partnering and awarding of contracts. The only way that we can change the economic wealth gap is that opportunities have to be provided. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So some of the ways that we can advocate, or that we have been advocating, is to really work with you in terms of what are your contract payment terms. Now, in some cases, we realize that corporations will say that our net pay is 120 days. So of course, we're going to provide that information to MBEs to let them know that if they can wait that long, because the corporations are either changing their financing system or they're merging, and so their payment might be further out, just so you know. We've looked at dual certifications. We'll continue to do that. We do have a dual certification. Marvin, correct me on that. For the state of Missouri, is that correct? We have a certification. You're certified with the council. You're also certified with the state of Missouri. Help me with that.
So for the state of Missouri, we have an MOU.
Okay.
It is not a true reciprocity agreement for certification for MBEs and seeking that certification from the state of Missouri, but it is a fast track process, and it's extremely simplified for the MBE. Really, there's just a one-page document that they have to complete. We verify with the state of Missouri that they are in fact certified, send a copy of that certificate, sign an affidavit, and it's a done deal for the MBE. So it's one of the great benefits for the MBEs.
So just don't stop there, Marvin. Tell a little bit more about within the KSMO, because we do have Turner on the line, whether it's Casey Rice, and tell us a little bit more what's happening within that KC, the KSMO market that people need to be aware of in terms of what the council is doing to advocate and to connect MBEs.
Sure. Okay. So, well, first of all, let me say hi to Stephanie and the folks over at Turner Construction. Glad that you're on the call today. In regards to Kansas City, one of the things that you will see is that there's been a huge initiative, at a CEO challenge that's come out of KC Rising. So at our Business Opportunity Exchange, which is coming up September 16th, we will have Mark Hill, the president of the Kansas City Civic Council, and we will have Sherry Gonzalez, the vice president of the KC Civic Council, as co-presenters. And they will actually go through their process or talk about the process for creating this supplier diversity initiative and conversation within the Kansas City KSMO area. That's significant because, again, there's a great movement to make sure that communities that have not had a chance to participate in the economic windfalls with regards to conducting business with corporate America have that opportunity. So we're extremely proud of that. In addition, in November, we will have our diversity business luncheon, and I'm sure you all are going to get a huge list of all the events coming up, but that's significant because it will be hosted by MCC, Metropolitan Community Colleges, and our good friend Chris Kelly, who was a former officer with the original Minority Supplier Development Council in Kansas City. And that's a great, that will be a great event again, because it gives our MBEs exposure. But in addition to that, it gives our corporate members and new corporate members, folks who are standing up supplier diversity programs, information to make sure that they have the best practices in place. And so I'll stop there so that I'm not monopolizing the time.
No, absolutely, Marvin. I think it's very important, and thank you so very much for that. I do want you to also share just real quickly the MOUs. Yes, we do have the MOU with the state of Missouri. Talk a little bit just quickly, a few more that we have, whether it's the Heartland Black Chamber. Just want you to mention a couple of MOUs in the KSMO market, please.
Sure. So we have a MOU with the SBA here in the KSMO area. We also have an MOU with the Heartland Black Chamber of Commerce. We're working on one with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here in our area. And why these are significant is, you know, a lot of times for corporate America, you will ask for MBEs to collaborate, right? Particularly when it's a large opportunity and you have difficulty breaking that opportunity down so that there could be participation. So in many instances, it makes sense for MBEs to collaborate in joint venture. Well, the same is true or can be said of our service organizations, our nonprofit service organizations. The council can't do everything. We can't be all things to all people, but what we can do is partner with organizations and entities that do things well and can do what we don't do to help all of our clients. And so that's why those MOUs are extremely important. And I've been glad that our leadership has really supported the efforts to make sure we have those in place.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Marvin. Always ready to speak. Thank you. Appreciate that and that reporting that you just gave. So introductions of prime contractors, already talked about. We're going to continue to do that. That is a way also that you can help us. We realize that you might not have an opportunity, but if your primes have an opportunity, your tier two, that would be significant that we can allow for tier two. So we're always going to make the introductions. The mentoring, definitely sometimes corporate members will say, Belinda, if we don't have a contract or an opportunity or a PO, what can we do? You can mentor, and that's why that COE program is going to be so important, because it's going to give the opportunity for our corporate members to provide mentoring to minority businesses. Loving this next sentence, MBEs on every contracting opportunity. Stan, talk a little bit about, just real quickly, what you have shared so many times, that if you just had one, can you share that, Stan, on every contract? I want you to talk, just mention that.
Yeah, that's a whole new, it's a whole new presentation. Let me, if you don't mind, just give you the highlights. 50 years ago, when these organizations started, the recognition was minority businesses, the gap between what minority businesses did in sales versus white businesses was very significant. And the whole point of these organizations becoming relevant was to try to close that gap. So there's a recent study out there, and I'd be more than happy to share it with you guys if you're interested. But a recent study came out. They did a quick look at what that gap was 50 years ago and what that gap is today. And it moved 1%. The gap closed in economic disparity in businesses of color versus white businesses. It closed by 1%. Using that amount of closure in that amount of time, the calculation is that in order to close the racial gap now, it would take 333 years. Well, you know, that's just not right. So how can we change that? If corporate America would increase their spend with minority businesses just 1% a year, we could close that gap in 17 years. So how can you do it? Well, you can have more spend. Well, you're not going to have more spend. You're going to spend what you need to spend, but you can have more minority spend. And if you could be really focused on how to do that, if you can make sure through your organization and through your management to identify potential minority firms that you could reach in your bidding process. So add every, we've got corporate members that have requirements. In every one of their contracts, there has to be at least one minority firm in the bidding process. You don't have to give it to them, but if they win it, and the only way they can win it, obviously, is if they get an opportunity. So that's what we're asking you for. That's why we throw in, if we could have MBEs in every one of your contracting or bidding opportunities, we would help really change that dynamic in closing that economic gap.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Stan. So in the remaining 15 minutes or so that we have, I want to allow time for our corporate members to ask any questions. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and feel free to put that in the chat, as well as I believe I saw a couple of corporate members join us. Lisa, did I miss you? Certainly want to give you an opportunity to say hello.
Sorry, I had to jump on late from another meeting. Apologies. My name is Lisa Weirman from US Foods. I am the Senior Manager of Supplier Diversity. Been with the company about 7 years. So thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa, for taking the time to join us. And then I know Catherine is on as well. So we're going to quickly go through. I'm not going to read everything on the slides. Keep going, April, because I want to make sure that I give the time. Stan, do you want to talk about the next two slides, the MBDA Center and the CRRA, please?
Sure, and I'll try to be concise. 12 years ago, when I came on board with this organization, I looked at the history, and the history was that we focused, remember, we're a corporate member organization. So members of our organization, or you are corporate members in the buying entities. Well, the focus had always been in corporate America, in the private sector, the commercial sector. And we had MBEs that wanted to play both in that field, had the capability of playing in that world, but also in the governmental space. And we really didn't have any way to support them in that. And in addition, the growth of our corporate membership, they developed in many cases, federal business. So they had a different, they had the same organization, but a different department, I'll say, that was focused on the federal space. And we didn't have any way to help them in that respect. So 11 years ago, there was an opportunity for us to bid on a grant that came out to run a minority business center from the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. We bid on it, and we were fortunate enough to get that 11 years ago. We've had that contract, a 5-year contract. We've had that contract now. This is the third 5 years that we've won that bid. So we've been able to create an additional organization within the council to focus on the governmental work. There are additional folks, and we've been very, very fortunate in able to do that. And this is just a little bit of a highlight on what we've done over the last 10 years. We've had 1 million clients, but of those clients, 407 of them were able to get 1.1 billion in verifiable contracts, whether it was in the federal space, state space, municipal space, and or in the private sector. We've created over 11,000 jobs. It's been very, very good for our MBEs, very, very good for those corporate members that have both commercial as well as governmental business. Next slide, please. Last year, we all know what happened last year, and everybody was reeling. The government asked us if we would be interested in creating another space, and that would be just focusing on the coronavirus and its effect on minority businesses. We won the award. It was a 1-year award last year, and we worked really hard on impacts for our MBEs. We were successful in that award, and they asked us again this year if we would be interested in extending another 1-year contract, again focused on the coronavirus response in relief areas that the Congress had focused on. And we said yes, we would. So we've Marvin Lyman, by the way, is the director of that particular piece of business that we have. So we have had numerous virtual presentations, virtual trainings, virtual elements to help our MBEs get past this issue in coronavirus. As we all know, about 30% of small businesses closed its doors. Our goal is to make sure that we help positively impact our minority businesses. And it doesn't mean our certified MBEs. This focus is on any MBE that we can find and work with within our 4-state region. I think last year, Marvin had over 6,000 impacts with MBEs. So it's been a godsend for minority businesses, and it's helped us, our corporate members, and our MBEs.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Stan. And so we're going to quickly, for the next few minutes, just give you some additional highlights. These are just some of the programs you will see on this particular slide that actually is a success in terms of some of the companies, what they have indicated that they're going to do, Stepping Up Corporate America. And so we just listed, and so certainly we have looked at these corporations in terms of their support, working with the NMSDC. And so you'll see Bristol Myers, what they have been, Bristol Myers Squibb, Coca-Cola, JP Morgan Chase. So definitely, and Liz Ojeda is here, or was here, working with her to make sure that we step up and work with these particular companies, since they've indicated some of the things that they're going to be doing in the minority business community. Next slide, April. So corporate benefits for all of our corporate members. These are, whether you're a national or whether you're a regional corporate member, you have access to the NMSDC central database, mechanism to submit. I'm hoping that When you do have a bid opportunity that you will submit the bids. The bids go on to our website. It is password protected, so only the minority businesses that are certified with the council has access to that. Of course, you are provided regional supplier diversity coordinator training that the NMSDC puts on. The council currently is working to put together a supplier diversity program for our regional and national corporate members as well. Access to opportunity events. We just had one last week with Evergy. They had 6 folks from their team that talked about how to do business, the access, what are the current opportunities. So our MBEs had a chance to listen in, and certainly I want to work with you to make sure that we're able to do that for your particular corporation. And I've already mentioned that we have corporate roundtables, which you will be invited to participate. All of this is done virtually, and there is no charge to attend. Please keep going. So just in case you didn't know, these are the fees in terms of being a corporate member. It's based on the number of employees that you have. If you're a nonprofit or government, of course, the fee is $3,000. Next slide. Some of the regional national corporate members is too many to include, but if you are located in our particular area, we try to make sure that we have included you. Now, if for some reason we're missing because you are so new, please bear with us, but we will make sure that we update this slide accordingly. But these are all of the corporations that are in our area and that we do business with. Keep going. So it's action time. So certainly, to continue viewing supplier diversity as a business imperative, we know that minority suppliers are motivated and can bring the innovation, the flexibility, and competition to the procurement and sourcing process. Certainly expand your customer base and contribute to the economy and also to the diverse business community as a whole. Next slide, please. So what gets measured gets done. Some of you on the call probably already have a robust supplier diversity program. We know that within the NMSDC, we have world-class supplier diversity programs. Certainly IBM has been recognized on a national level for their supplier diversity program, being called Corporation of the Year. I was there, I think, when they won that. Michael Johnson as well as being a big advocate for minority suppliers. And so you can set, first thing to do is to set a goal. What is that goal in terms of spend that you're going to do? Maybe it's a tier 2 goal. If you already have primes that you're working with, then set a goal for the number of opportunities or the spend for your tier 2 level, and then set a goal. Start small and then work your way. Whether it's one supplier, make sure that you have an MBE on every contract opportunity, but set some goals, because we know that if you take a vested interest, the whole organization then is held accountable. Next slide. So just quickly, activate your supply diversity professionals and supply chain manager around the goals. Anything that the council can do, we are here to help, support, and to assist. You can review your existing contracts to see, gosh, we have some opportunities, whether it's a contractor or whether it's a PO. I know when I first got started as a minority supplier for the council, or not for the council, but a minority supplier, a business owner, that I got POs to POs before I got a contract opportunity. So look for those opportunities in terms of where a minority supplier can assist within your particular corporation. Certainly a mentorship program, and leverage your relationship with the MPMSDC and the NMSDC. If we do not have within our database, across the board on a national level, we can find the diverse supplier for your business opportunity. Next slide. These are some of the success stories. This is so very important. We have been working diligently regarding a program. And so we are very pleased with the University of Nebraska and their world-renowned professors for the MB University. This is also being sponsored by the Whites Foundation, United Airlines, Denver Public Schools, and Gilmore Construction. MLB, Major League Baseball, recently, and if you go to the MLB website, you will see some of our own suppliers advertised for the year the next year on the MLB website. And so more in store with them. Cargill, of course, is sponsoring along with United Airlines, the Centers of Excellence, and United Airlines just recently came in and announced that they are going to sponsor 50 MBE certifications. They are paying for those certifications to make a difference, and this will be in the Class 1. So we certainly want to thank United Airlines, and there are so many more success stories, but just wanted to share a few with you. Next slide. So meet the team. You've met some of the council team. And so these are some of the additional folks. Andre Hargrave is the director. All of this information can be found on the council's website of the MBDA. Randy McCall, assistant director, Marvin, April, and Brittany are on the call. Liz Ojeda, who works with us, Stella Marimbe, business consultant, Brandon Butler, administrative coordinator, both for the CRRA, and then Rufus, who is going to be working with the Denver MBDA Business Center. That is the MPMSDC and the MBDA team. These are the members of our board that is led by Mr. Robert Kunze, chairperson. He is the director of supply chain with Excel Energy, and you'll see the rest of the board members that are present there. And the thing that you should note about the board is that it comprises the 4-state area. The MBIC, which means the Minority Business Enterprise Input Committee, they are a subcommittee of the board. It is led by D. Crane Arnold, chair. He's the AVP, Business Development Director or Manager for Worldwide Technology, or should I say just business development for Worldwide Technology. They just had their annual all hands forum just yesterday. It was held virtually, and they did an awesome job in putting together and executing that event. This also, the members on this team, they also represent the 4-state area. Next slide. So advancing the brand, just real quickly in the time that we have left, some of the ways that we do it, of course, is testimonials. We do the video broadcast. So if any of you are interested, we could be calling on you to do a video for us. Of course, referrals, social media. We have a full committee that really looks at our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, everything that we could do, as well as our website. We put out monthly newsletters. If for some reason you are not receiving the newsletters, please let us know. And of course, we've already talked about our strategic partners, other organizations that we are members of. And of course, we will continue to serve on various committees within our 4-state area to advance the mission and the vision of the council. Next slide. Upcoming events. Not going to go into a lot of this because I want to reserve some time to talk to you, but this is our big event that's coming up just next month, September 16th. It will be held virtually. Please set your calendar, your time, and your date. You do not want to miss this. And certainly we want to thank our sponsors to date. Certainly we'll be reaching out to you to ask for your continued support to help support the council and maybe sponsor this event or other events that we have coming up. Jim is on the line from Belco. This is our flyer. This is the STAR event. We're certainly going to share the council, thank our sponsors, announce the 2 new grants, and recognize MBDA and CARES Act. You do not want to miss it. We have it from 5:30. We'll start there early, show up. We'll be there at 4 to get everything all set up, but you do not want to miss this particular event at Belco Credit Union. We have been sending information out regarding the awards. This is your opportunity to nominate a supplier, class 1 through 4. If you have not done so, we ask that you do so. Certainly look at yourself or others that has been a tremendous advocate for our suppliers within your organization. You can nominate yourself or nominate someone else for Advocate of the Year. The MBE to MBE and the corporation, that is reserved for our suppliers. They would have to fill out those nominations. The awards, the event is going to be happening virtually December 2nd, followed by a live holiday mixer party in each state. So stay tuned for that. We're going to end the year in a tremendous way. I've already talked about the MBE University, the COE. I've already mentioned that as well. And so as we close out, this is our contact information. We are located headquartered here in Colorado in Centennial, in the KSMO in the Lenexa, area, and in Omaha, Nebraska, in the Bellevue area. So with that, we want to say thank you.